Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Racha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Division Will Not Fail. And pretty much this is based off of some meditating I was doing. I was listening to a bunch of different videos about Iran and Israel, this whole, skirmish back and forth, trying to, see if the spirit would hit me with an idea for a lesson. And nothing was coming for that particular subject. But then all of a sudden, what popped up in my head was, pretty much the thought of how many nations in the world are digital, or have digital capabilities. And that caused me to start looking up some stuff. And I got a few things put together, a couple of precepts. Hopefully it'll be an edifying lesson. But what you see pretty much going around the world, hey, Shalom, Elder D-Mash, and Shalom to, the rest of you sincere brothers and you sincere sisters, Shalom. And pretty much, the direction that the world is going in is a digital. It's digital, and it's not, by coincidence. It's not a stroke of luck or a stroke of genius, of Esau putting these things together. The reason why it's happening is because it's biblical. It's prophecy. And one thing the world tries to get away from is prophecy. You hear all these different pundits, speaking about this war in Israel, speaking about nuclear, possibility of nuclear war and how they hope that this is not going to happen. And, they hope that there's never a nuclear war, this, that, and the other. But what they don't understand or fail to realize is that this is all biblical. This is all prophecy. And a lot of them same individuals that'll say that, they'll say that they believe in the Bible, but then, when it comes to the scriptures, they leave the scriptures out. When it comes to speaking about these different talking points that they talk about, for the most part. But the whole, these countries becoming digital pretty much is all prophecy, and we know that through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, these nations, all peoples, all men on the planet Earth are controlled by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Whether they want to accept it, like it or not. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 24. And then let me get this other one that just came to mind before I forget it. Let me just pull that one up and then we can go back. All right. So Proverbs chapter 20, verse 24, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? Okay, so if man's goings are of the Lord, that means the Lord programs man's mind to do what he wants them to do. And this is another one that came to mind. I just want to get that also before I forget that one. Let me pull this one up and then we'll go back. Matter of fact, I'll just read this one. Jeremiah 10:23. O Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps. And when we go back here to Job 33:15, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men and slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men. What are the ears of men? Not your actual ears on the side of your head, but your brain, which is the receiver. Then he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instruction. So pretty much every night when we go to sleep, the Lord seals the instructions of what we're going to do the next day, that he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. Pretty much he keepeth back his soul from the pit and his life from the perishing by the sword. So every direction that an individual takes is all set up by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Now, I typed in different things, but I'm just going to, just go through it best I can in the best order that I can put it together, and through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But I put in how many countries are developing digital capabilities, right? It says as of November 2023, 130 countries are exploring central bank digital currencies. So in order to explore with central bank digital currencies, you have to have a digital infrastructure in order to operate this, because hence the word digital. So you do have 130 countries out there that are already in the developing stages, or already have some form of digital infrastructure, that they're working with, right? And then it goes on to say other things, but I just want to kind of move along. Now, I typed in how many countries in the world. It says 195 countries, and I believe Elder Apostle Tahar had mentioned 198, if I'm not mistaken. But 195, 198, nevertheless, there's about close to 200 countries in the world. So the next thing that I did was I had typed in, I forgot what the other thing that I had typed in, but this came up on U.S. News. And by the way, these articles are in the description box. And you brothers, for God's sake, man, if you do a video and you highlight an article, or you highlight a video, can you please put it in the description box if you can? Because nothing's more frustrating than watching a video, getting all hyped up, and going back and trying to, find the information. You can't find it, or it takes you hours to find the information. So for God's sake, if you got the ability to do it, just put it in the description box. You like the convenience of clicking on an article or a video to go watch it, right? So won't you have the same courtesy for other brothers? I was just thinking about that earlier. Salakia, I just, like I said, I was thinking about that. So right now I'm just thinking out loud. U.S. News. These countries have the most well-developed digital infrastructure. And it has here 87 countries. But these are well-developed. So there are more countries out there that have the digital capabilities, but there's 87 countries that are well developed. Now there's 195 countries, so if you divide 195 in half, that's about 97 and a half countries. So almost half of the countries of the world are well developed. As you see here, well developed. It didn't say that just had digital infrastructure. It said that they were the most well developed. So you have other countries that may not be as well developed, but they still have digital capabilities. As we've read over here, 130 countries have, this ability. And you have other countries that have, somewhat of a digital infrastructure in their country, because this is the wave of the future. And this is how they operate, or how they're going to be operating the new world, so to speak. These countries have the most well-developed digital infrastructure. These are the top countries viewed as having well-developed digital infrastructure, blah, 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 right? 87 countries. Then you have Japan, number 1, South Korea, number 2, United States, number 3, China, number 4, Germany, so on and so forth. You go on and on. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. All right? As you go down, you could load more. You can see all 87 if you want. From number 1 all the way down to 87, and then there's other ones. So one thing that came to mind was, I forget exactly how I worded it, but this, matter of fact, I'll see if I could pull that up, see how I worded it, see if it'll come up. I typed in how many nations have a digital infrastructure. So I typed in how many nations have a digital infrastructure. This came up, right? Digital nations. All right? The digital nations, or DN, previously the digital 5, digital 7, and digital 9, that all represents the amount of members, is a collaborative network of the world's leading digital governments with a common goal. Matter of fact, before we read any more, digital definition. Let's just get digital definition. Digital, of signals or data expressed as series of the digits 0 and 1, typically represented by values of physical quantities such as voltage or magnetic polarization. Digital data information theory and information system, finite number of values. What is the simple definition of digital? Digital describes electronic technology that generates, stores, and processes data in terms of positive and non-positive states. And pretty much they want the world to go digital, which it is going digital, because they want to control everything to be online. Hence, you have pretty much the, MOTB, which is the micro CHIP, that is going to be used as a means of purchasing, as a means of navigating this new system that they're putting in place. And people are already, used to navigating digitally, because most people do not carry cash, in the world today. Most people are carrying, that are in these developed nations, are carrying credit cards and, different devices where they can use to pay, or get into clubs or whatever the case may be. All right, so that's the digital. So when we go back here, the digital nation, or DN, previously the digital is a collaborative network of world-leading digital governments with a common goal of harnessing digital technology to improve citizens' lives. Members share world-class digital practices, collaborate to solve common problems, identify improvement to digital services, and support and champion the group's growing digital economies through international cooperation. The digital nations aims to identify how digital governments can provide the most benefit to citizens, which that's the cover story. But it's really to entrap people, to bring them in a state of digital slavery, pretty much. The group embodies minilateral engagement, where small groups of states cooperate on specific topics with a global impact. So now you have the members. You have Estonia, Israel, New Zealand, Republic of Korea, United Kingdom. They founded D5. In February 2018, Canada and Uruguay joined. That made it D7. In November 2018, Mexico and Portugal joined to form D9. Denmark joined as the 10th member of Digital Nations in November 2019. And you have others that are, looking into it. And then you have all of the different departments from these different nations as to, that are involved in this membership. All right, and then the first four have all to do with economy, which eventually that's all it's going to go down to. It's going to go down to economy, identification, so on and so forth, which Nick Rockefeller told Aaron Russo that they want the whole world micro-CHIPed, which implies what? In order for you to be micro-CHIPed, you have to have something to read it. If you have to have something to read it, you have to have some type of infrastructure set up to where it can read and then provide that information somewhere else so you can read what information is on there. And that's the digital system. All right, then you have the charter back in 2014. These are the meetings, the different meetings. They meet twice a year. They give you the meeting, the location, and by the way, Estonia is 99% digital of digital capability. In other words, they are already set. Their whole infrastructure is set for the MOTB. All right. Somebody had called it Estonia. It's Estonia, but somebody called it Estonia as electronic Estonia. All right, and then you have the different dates. Also, you see here they had a meeting where in Jerusalem, in Israel, and back in 2017. Then you have they give you some of they're teaching children to code. In other words, they're starting young. They know that the scriptures say, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he shall not depart from it. That's why they're training the young children to be involved in the system, because they don't know any better. All right. Open markets, connectivity, So I'm going to jump here to connectivity because I was reading some of this. It's pretty interesting. It says with an increasing number of internet connected devices in each household, the D5 intends to look at what type of infrastructure is needed to maintain and expand connectivity. Right, and that's pretty much why they shut things down back in 2020, 2020 into 2021 or something like that, to pretty much have a free range to set up this 5G, the 5G. It says as well as how they can work together to share each other's experiences and to develop standards together. Why? Because they're merging the whole world and making it digital through interconnectivity, which is the Internet of Bodies, which pretty much the Internet of Things, which is interconnecting everything, including humans. This is why, Noah Yuval Harari, that devil, he said that, they're going to be tracking people subdermally, pretty much with devices in them. So how are they going to surveil you if you have a device in you that they can't track? How are they going to track that device? Well, through the infrastructure that they set up in place. Readers everywhere, cameras, Citing a Cisco figure, which Cisco is a company in America. The D5 expects over 50 billion internet-connected devices to be in use around the world by 2020. We're already in 2024. So you know that they're well beyond that. Because everything now is interconnected. Everything is on the web, on the internet, with as many as dozens of each device in every household. Right, and that's why they kept bringing out smartphones and smart, this and smart that, and your Alexas and smart meters and smart, TVs and smart refrigerators, So when you walk in the crib, all you got to do is say a word, and your stuff starts turning on, To meet these needs, the UK government's focus will be on machine-to-machine technology, the Internet of Things, which pretty much is going to include the Internet of Bodies, and 5G. See, that's why they had that in place, because they needed the speed in order to get the system to work even better. Mobile networks. In March 2014, they announced they will be investing 45 million pounds in the Internet of Things. They have set up smart cities, which are those 15-minute cities, so where you can get everything that you want to get within 15 minutes. But now if you notice, when they showed you the certain places out there in China, they had gates and fencing all the way around these different areas, and you could only access it by having a particular, what's the word I'm looking for? Pass in order to get in. So eventually, what do you think that's going to be? That's going to be the micro CHIP. It says demonstrators in Glasgow, London, Bristol, and Petersborough, and their 5G Innovation Center in the world's first dedicated 5G test bed center. In a speech during the summit, Cabinet Minister Francis Maud announced that the UK intends to have 97% of all citizens' interaction with the state online by the end of next parliament. See, everything going digital. In Estonia, they have X-Road. Certainly managed distributed data exchange layer between system organizations can exchange information over the internet. Yeah, everything interconnected. A secure platform independent internet-based data exchange layer that provides transparent digital services with minimum costs through a public-private partnership. New Zealand is in the process of upgrading internet infrastructure to fiber optic cables. Korea too has made significant investments into the Internet of Things. Right, this is talking about, using the game Doctor Who to teach the young children, how to maneuver in this system in so many words. But this is the point here, the future. The group expanded rapidly from 5 to 10 members, with other countries signaling their interest in joining the digital nations. In the interest of strengthening capacity of the DN network, which is a digital nation, the steering committee agreed to establish a secretariat to work on behalf of all DN countries in support of the group's key priorities. The DN secretariat was introduced at the fifth ministerial summit in Israel in November 2018. How convenient, you know? Because remember, whatever governments are established that these devils have infiltrated, they're, set themselves up in positions of power to make decisions that's going to benefit them. Under the guise of we're doing it to help the citizens of this place. Bullshit, it's to help them. All right? So I just found that pretty interesting, So pretty much the direction of everything is heading in the direction of a digital system. Why? Because they want to push the MOTB, which is the micro C-HIP, on the world to be able to interact with anything online. And if you act up, if you don't behave, if they don't like the way you're moving, if they don't like the stuff that you're watching online, the content that you're watching online, they can limit what you do or how you're able to maneuver in the system, or they can completely cut you out. And they showed you years ago what China did to that one individual, that one Moabite dude, that I don't know what he did, but he pissed the government off. And he was pretty much blocked out of everything. He couldn't take public transportation. He couldn't go to. I don't think he was able to go to the bank. It was very limited the things that he could do. But the infrastructure that they had, he was cut out of it. Why? Because his credit score was not up to par. Now there was a series. I forgot what the name of the series was, where they show you that. Where your interaction with the system and your job and everything you were able to get was based off of your credit score, and it was people that was giving you the likes or dislikes. And if you dropped below a certain percentage, you weren't able to access certain things. I forgot. I think that was Black Mirror, if I'm not mistaken. So everything is going in that general direction. Now, when we read the scriptures in Daniel 12:4, it says, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." And the knowledge has been increased through the technology that the Most High gave these devils. Remember, we read earlier that the man's goings are of the Lord. So everything that this devil does in the direction that he's going is all set up for the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Now, I had a question on one of my lives. I'm not sure if that was last week, where the brother asked me that if Esau or the wicked can't learn righteousness or something along those lines, why does it say, if I can remember his question, why does it say that they are more wiser than Daniel? Well, the reason why, they didn't say that they were more righteous than Daniel. See, the difference is they said they were wiser than Daniel. Because the things that Daniel wrote about, he didn't understand those prophecies that he wrote about. But Esau, in these times, understands because of the history and the things that have been provided and works that other people have done and put together to show you that those prophecies that Daniel spoke of actually came to pass and are still coming to pass. And even in that, they don't know that the visions of Daniel also spoke about the very end, which is today. Which with the same fourth beast, which is the Roman Empire, coming back today in the reincarnation as America and her allies. So that's why I said that they were wiser than Daniel, because they understand the prophecies that Daniel wrote, which Daniel did not understand. All right, so the word for knowledge here is da'ith, which goes back to the word yadai. Yadai means knowledge. This is da'ith. Now, this word here, da'ith, which is heavy, goes back to where Moses, where the Most High told Moses that by his name Al-Shajah he was known, but by his title Al-Shajah he was known, but by his name Yahweh was he not known. It meant that he was not well known or famous. And the word there is nawa da'ithya. All right. And this is the word da'ith, which is another way of saying knowledge. All right. Knowledge, perception, skill, discernment, understanding, wisdom. So the skill that they were given was what? This technology that they have. Let's look up the word technology. Let's see what it says for technology. Technology, the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes, especially in industry. Let's see if we can. What is technology definition for kids? Fuck it. Why not? Technology is the use of knowledge to invent new devices or tools. Pretty straightforward. Through our history, technology has made people's lives easier. Yeah, but it's made them stupid too. Because the same things that people were doing 100, 200 years ago, and they're doing it a lot easier now. But guess what? The stupidity is at an all-time high nowadays. Whether it's practical, like washing machine, tumble dryer, refrigerator, cars, flooring materials, windows, or door handles. See, these are all technologies, but the technology that is being advanced here or multiplied or increased is the technology of the internet, pretty much. You know, yeah, you have your missiles, you have cars, you have all this other stuff, but the main thing is the technology, information technology, or the information highway, as they call it, which is the internet. That's what increased. You know, and these devils have found a way to weaponize online against people. And that would be through the MOTB, which the scriptures call the MOTB, through what's known as a micro C-hip. Now, there's some individuals that's going to get it in their heads because they don't have mobility, or they may have Parkinson's, or they may have dementia or some other debilitating disease, to where their motor skills are not that great, and this is going to improve their motor skills to be able to get online, but that's going to be their demise, their destruction, because it says anyone that takes the MOTB is going to be destroyed. They're going to have their date with the lake of fire. Now we go to Ezekiel 12:21, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, what is a proverb that you have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged and every vision faileth? Because the name of this lesson is the vision will not fail. Because, you know, for the most part, you know, I know these false prophets are highly upset that everything in the world is going digital. You know, it's like every time they try to come up with a new breakdown for the MOTB, the digital infrastructure turns around and bites them in the ass. And I know they're highly upset. This is why the Bishop Nathaniel, there you go. I knew he was going to mention the bishops. Keep the bishop's name out your mouth. You know, I knew. Well, that's why he actually started speaking or did one lesson from what I could remember on the digital infrastructure, right? You know, how everything's going digital. And he even said in there, they might throw a micro C-hip in there, but that's not the MOTB, because he sees that the whole infrastructure is changing, and that the direction that everything is going in, especially economically, is going the way of a digital currency. And this is why with these devils, they control things on the left-hand side through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem El Shai. They set up the infrastructure this way because they want everybody tracked. They want digital slaves. This is why you had, you know, the tabulating machine, you know, the holograph machine, which goes back to IBM, you know, where you had what they call the tabulating system. Tabulating system is keeping tabs on somebody. This is why they set up, you know, in process of time, they set up what? The cards, I forgot what it's been so long, I forgot what they called. The card, you used to punch the card when you go to work. That was to keep tabs on you. See? And that all led up to what you see today, because that was all set up that way. Then you had George Laurer, which worked for IBM. He set up the UPC code, Universal Product Code. and so on and so forth. Because all of these things were set up. They use the guise of, well, we're using it to see what products are selling and what products are not selling and how many of this particular product is selling, to keep track of everything, inventory, make inventory easier. But no, that was the point. The point is to so-called make it easier, because eventually they wanted to transfer that into people. Remember what Nick Tesla. Salakia. Remember what Nick Rockefeller told Aaron Russo? He want the whole world chipped. Saw a video on Netflix showing how they are monitoring you every move. Yeah. Do you know the name of it? You know the name of that video that you saw? Oh, and check it out. I saw part 2 of Fallout, and pretty much what I'm picking up is that the vault dwellers, as they call them, you had the vault dwellers and the surface dwellers. The chick, that left, the vault 33, she went into this particular place called, I think it was called Philly, Philly, I think it was. And when she was interacting with one of the people there, they figured that she was a vault dweller. And what she was saying was that pretty much the vault dwellers, in so many words, would be the international bankers and their families, which were the rich, uppity class that were able to go into these shelters. And then the surface dwellers were the poor that could not afford to go into those vaults. That's why they were up, above ground, catching hell, So I'm just going to leave it at that. So reading on, Ezekiel 12:23, tell them therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem El Shai, will make this proverb to cease. Right, because now everything is coming to pass. Now let's transition to Habakkuk, and then we'll come back to Ezekiel. Habakkuk 2:1, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. Right, because the prophet's job was to wait for the visions from the Lord. The Lord would give them the visions, and they will in turn turn around and give the visions to Jake. All right, let me read this. Read this real quick. The elder Dimash put up Revelation 14:11, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark or of his name. Right, because that's what's going to happen. And the reason why it says forever and ever is because it's going to burn for a long time. So we're witnessing right now what the Apostle John saw in his vision. He actually saw this in a vision. He actually saw people getting micro C-hipped. He actually seen them lining up to be able to interact with the digital system. He actually saw when, society was collapsing and breaking down, and plagues and pestilences were everywhere. And he saw that, people were dying of starvation or catching hell just trying to survive. So eventually, which is in Revelation 6, so eventually, here comes Esau, the so-called savior, to set up the system. Well, if you take this micro C-hip, all of your problems will go away, because you won't be poor anymore. You won't, be struggling, because you'll receive your benefits that you need. You'll receive the money that you need. You'll be put up in a particular place, but all you have to do is comply with the rules. This is Revelation 1:1. The revelation of Yahushua, which the Most High gave unto him, meaning unto the Apostle John, to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. You see? It says, and he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, who bare record of the word of the Most High, and of the testimony of Yahushua, and of all things that he saw. Right? Because he was actually an eyewitness to Yahushua, because he was the Apostle John. And he also eyewitnessed, all of the events that would take place in the future, but he just didn't understand what it was. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. Now, when we go to Revelation 13, which is also all part of the same vision, and we go down to this 15th verse, And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. The image of the beast is a representation of the ancient Roman Empire and their infrastructure, the way they were set up and established. All right? And the way that he gave life unto the beast is because now Esau today put that into motion. When you go to their different buildings, the governmental buildings, they're all set up in a style and stylized like the ancient Roman Empire with the Roman pillars. They're running, Roman law. They're running the Senate, the presidency and all that according to the Roman ways. That is what gave life to the image of the beast. And even back then, when they had the denarius in place, they were devaluing the denarius, which made it damn near worthless, which meant people were catching hell trying to pay their bills and buy stuff because the money that they had wasn't sufficient. Same thing today with the devaluing of the dollar. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right, because eventually in this whole system, if you don't comply, you're going to be cut out and you're going to die. And they're going to scripture say they shall be like madmen, sparing none. And it also says that they shall come down with great wrath, knowing that they have but a short time. You see? So these devils, they're on a mission. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, talking about peoples, all right, the people of the world, free and bond, to receive an mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And the Apostle John actually saw this. People lined up. Let me see if we could pull up. Let me see images. Let me see if something will come up. Right, he saw lines, just big ass lines, of people going and to receive this mark. He saw these long ass lines. Somebody put a death's door. People are lining up for it, that's what he saw. He saw a bunch of people lined up and getting this device put in them. What gives you a good visual of that is the movie Handmaid's Tale. If you watch the movie Handmaid's Tale, they'll show you there, how when they grabbed these women up, they brought them to a particular warehouse. And eventually, once they got them settled in, I believe the next day they had them come in. They were dressed, in their uniforms. They would have them come in and put their arm inside of this device. And they had a bracelet with a UPC code on it, which was for tracking, to be able to maneuver in this system. But that really was a representation of, the micro C hip. All right. So going back, it says, Revelation 13:17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, which is all part of the same system. You see? But the key here is what? Buying and selling. No man might buy or sell. When we go to the word buy is agorazo, which goes back to the word agora, which is the marketplace where you would trade. See, it goes back to agora, the marketplace where you would trade. To be in the marketplace, to attend it, to do business there, buy or sell of idle people, to haunt the marketplace lounges. So you will not be able to maneuver in this new system unless you have this mark, which is the micro C hip. I don't know how much plainer it has to be. So let's see what the word sell is. It should be the same word. Nope. The word is poleo. Right, and it says to be busy or to trade. To barter, to sell, sellers, right? Because you have sellers, you have buyers, you have, sellers, consumers, you have sellers, retailers and all that, wholesalers, and you have the consumers. So you will not be able to sell or buy anything unless you have this mark. And what more proof do you need? It came from the horse's mouth. Because, pretty much Aaron Russo asked him, what do you want? They want everybody micro C hipped. For what purpose? For the purpose of, fulfilling prophecy of the MOTB being the micro C hip, and to control everything. And that's why Alex Jones said total control. Total control. Yeah, because once you have, the system and the control of the system, the people cannot maneuver in that system unless they comply to the rules. And the rules are you got to take this device. You see what they showed you in the movie, the Purge, the second to last one, with the Jake. I forgot what that one was called. No, it was called the First Purge. I believe it was called the First Purge, which they showed you. They went to Jake. It was Judah and Ephraim. And then they went to the poor that didn't have shit, that was have under hard times, and they offered them money to partake in this experiment. And because the one chick, the Ephraimite chick, she said, well, how do you know if I stay here or if I leave? Well, we will implant a device into you, which was what? The micro C hip. See? So you will not be able to buy or trade or sell anything unless you take that micro C hip. So here's wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, is the number 603 score and 6, 603 score and 6, which is 666. Bottom line. So going back to Habakkuk 2:2 now, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Right. Run to get himself together. That understand. That's why the angel said, blessed is he that readeth. All right. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. And that's just the point. It was for an appointed time. Time dictates prophecy. The word for appointed time is mawa'id. Appointed place, appointed time, meeting, appointed time. So when that time comes, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to move the prophecies into motion. Because prophecies are just words until they are brought into effect. That's why everything must be fulfilled. That's why it says we have a more sure word of prophecy. Because some prophecies in men's mouths are pretty much just empty words. But the prophecies of the Lord are not. Eventually they start speaking. So it's for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end, meaning when the time is appropriate, it shall speak, meaning it's going to start to sound off. And we're seeing it speaking. The word there is pawach, for speak. Let's see, pawach. Because the word for mouth is pah, pawach, to breathe, blow, to breathe. Right, it's going to have life. It's going to come to life. To cause to exhale or breathe. That's why Yahweh Shai said, the words which I speak, they are spirit and they are life. Because these words, this Bible that we read is a breathing, living document. And this is why it's the best selling. This is why it's never falters, never fails. It's been accurate in everything it's spoken about. It spoke about the beginning. It spoke about before the beginning. It spoke about the middle times. It spoke about the end times. And it's undefeated. It's undefeated. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, that because the Most High is not a man that he should lie. And this is his word. Though it tarry, meaning it takes a while, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And we're at the point now where it's not tarrying. It's speaking loud and clear. Everything is being manifested. And that's why we read in Ezekiel 12 and 23 now, tell them therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel. But say unto them, the days are at hand, and the effect of every vision. Something that's effectual means it's moving, it's in motion. No. Let's see what the word for effect here is. Debar, which is word. Speech, word, speaking thing. Then we just read at the end it shall speak and not lie. So going back, it says, for there shall be no more any vain vision nor flattering divination within the house of Israel, for I am the Lord Yahweh Bashem El Shai. I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass. And that's why we see in it speaking. That's why these false prophets that are teaching different, they're scrambling because they're seeing vain visions. So if you see in vain visions, you have to scramble to try to keep your bullshit together. And that's why they fight so hard. They're not fighting hard against it because they don't see it in most cases. They're fighting hard against it because the Lord revealed it, the great millstone. That's why they're fighting so hard against it. Now it can't be true. Not them ninjas, So they don't want to give credit to the men of the Lord. But that's all right. Because they're going to be made to look foolish. They're going to have to explain to their congregation, as to what's going on. And that's why, Oil Can Harry, the slickster that he is, he, did a video on the digital system coming into place because he knows it's coming. It's inevitable. So once it's in place, I didn't say that it wasn't coming, moron. If you listen real good, moron, I did a video on it, such and such a time, where I explained it. That dude, boy, man, that dude is, there's a word for it. I can't even think of the word. That's how crazy it is. But anyways, he's so what you call it, deceptive. It shall be no more prolonged. For in your days, O rebellious house, will I say the word, and I will perform it, saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Again, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say, the vision that he seeth is for many days to come, and he prophesies of the times that are far off. And that's why Jake doesn't fear the Lord, because they're pushing this thing off, and there's nothing really happening to them physically, to where they're getting their heads kicked in and beaten and put in this real fucked up position, to where, they're not fearing the Lord. But the Lord is going to put that fear in them. Therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord power, there shall none of my words be prolonged any more, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So the words of the Lord are going to, come to pass, because they're sure words, as silver tried in the fire, and they will happen. And that's why you see the whole infrastructure going digital, because that is an indication that the Lord's prophecies are coming to pass. You have 130 countries that are exploring central bank digital currencies, which means they have some type of digital infrastructure. Then you have 195 countries. And out of those 195 countries, 87 of them are well developed in digital infrastructure. And you have others that have the capabilities also, because everything is moving in that direction. All right. And then you can look up digital nations, And then, you're having somebody that's going to be set up over this digital nations, and the Secretariat was introduced in the 5th Ministerial Summit in Israel, of all places. I'll leave it up to your imagination who's going to be the head of that. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say shalom, through water for coming through. I said Kenya jumping on board. All right, well, like Apostle Tara said, you have those Hamite countries. They're not going to accept the Mo lifestyle, but they're going to accept the MOTB. All right, so with that, I pray that you brothers, and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say shalom, and through water for tuning in. Shalom.